How are you all? Are you okay? And could it be that two of the world's biggest idols finally show their suppressed emotions? What actually happened inside the military division barracks that made all the soldiers silence and shed tears? That day the atmosphere in the division was very different from usual, not because the training was harder than before, nor because of the surprise arrival of high-ranking officials. There was something deeper, something emotional, something that made everyone there feel a rare warmth amidst the discipline of the military world. Jungkook and Taehyung, two members of BTS who are currently serving in the military, have spent months in strict discipline. Those who are usually known for their cheerful smiles on stage are now faced with a life far away from the cameras and the glitz of the entertainment world. However, that day, something happened, something that even the soldiers who are famous for being tough can't help but feel. That day's training was quite exhausting. With less time left in the military, Jungkook and Taehyung tried to give their best in every task. They know that this togetherness will not last forever, and the time they have in the division is a precious moment that will never be repeated. Under the scorching sun, the training session was almost over. Sweat soaked their uniforms, gasps could be heard from each soldier. However, among all that, there was something bigger than just physical training. When the instructor gave a sign that the training was over, the atmosphere suddenly changed. Without hesitation, Jungkook stepped closer to BTS V with slightly teary eyes. He looked at Taehyung, who had been with him since the beginning of BTS's journey. Taehyung, who initially looked shocked, immediately smiled softly. However, before he could say anything, Jungkook suddenly hugged him tightly. Not a single word was immediately spoken, only silence enveloped the two of them. However, it was precisely in that silence that the other soldiers felt something that shook their hearts. This was not just an ordinary hug, this was the hug of two brothers who had gone through a lot together, from the biggest stage in the world to a life of discipline like the military. Taehyung finally returned the hug, patting Jungkook's back affectionately. It didn't matter that they were surrounded by other soldiers, it didn't matter that this was a rigid and disciplined military environment, this was a moment where true feelings spoke louder than words. And when they finally broke the hug, Jungkook said the words that sent shivers down everyone's spine. With a voice full of emotion, Jungkook looked at Taehyung and the other soldiers with eyes that were hard to describe. There was pride, there was gratitude, there was a feeling that only those who had been through hard days together could understand. "I'm proud to have stood with you," Jungkook said, his voice shaking slightly. "I'm proud to call you my brothers." No one answered right away. Some of the soldiers looked down, wiping the corners of their eyes. Others could only nod, as if trying to hide their emotions. Taehyung, who was standing next to him, smiled widely, but his eyes were also filled with tears. He took a deep breath before finally saying, "Jungkook, I'm proud of you too." There was no cheering, no applause. There was an atmosphere of emotion that enveloped everyone there. With the draft almost finished, this moment felt like the beginning of a difficult goodbye. Jungkook and Taehyung would soon return to their lives as idols, but their experiences in the military would remain a part of them forever. Many are wondering, how will they spend their last days in the military? Will there be a special celebration? Will they say an official farewell message to their fellow soldiers? One thing is for sure, this hug moment has become one of the most precious memories, not only for Jungkook and Taehyung, but also for every soldier who witnessed it. When they finally leave the base later, they will not only leave as famous BTS members, but also as brothers who have shared an incredible journey in the military division. And for the fans who are waiting for them out there, this moment is proof that even though their world has changed, their hearts remain the same, filled with gratitude, love, and brotherhood that will never fade. Ever since that emotional day, the atmosphere in the military division felt a little different. The soldiers began to realize that their time with Jungkook and Taehyung was running out. No one directly addressed the breakup, but there was an unspoken feeling among them, as if everyone was trying to savor every second they had left before the two world stars returned to their real lives. Training continued as usual, but there were more moments where Jungkook and Taehyung were seen joking around with their comrades, laughing more freely, and sharing stories they probably wouldn't repeat again in the future. One night, after training was over, several soldiers gathered in the dormitory. Usually, this would be a time for rest or casual conversation, but the evening felt more intimate. "I still remember when you guys first came here," one of the soldiers said, looking at Jungkook and Taehyung with a nostalgic smile. "You guys really looked like idols. Now, you guys are real soldiers." Jungkook chuckled. "At first I thought I wouldn't be able to, but now, I find it hard to leave." Taehyung nodded, his gaze distant. "I will miss this atmosphere, even though it's hard, there's something that makes me feel comfortable here."